Hi, I am John Ratz, and I am a senior at Creighton Prep. This poem is called Sleeping on God. I used to dream horribly. In some shade of nightmare, my mind was the most terrifying thing to me. When I was young, I feared not the monsters beneath my bed, but the darkness that poured itself inside my head. I knew that I had God above me and the wicked below me. What this meant, I did not know. Only that I suffered in the gap between them and the sky seemed so far away. I learned that the cure for a terrified mind was to sleep with the Bible tucked beneath the pillow. I did not feel a saving grace radiating up from the good book through cloth and stuffing. All I felt was extremely uncomfortable. You try sleeping atop the text of a millennia-old faith and tell me how you feel in the morning. Regardless of how weird it was, this was how I slept for years, until I almost forgot that the sacred word of God, Jesus, and pals was stashed underneath my head. But I no longer sat up sweating in the night, and the screams of my subconscious faded to wisps on waking. Still, the night I finally decided to remove my heavenly headrest was the best sleep I have ever had. If my method sounds strange, it should. A stable person wouldn't sleep on a book. I have now managed my mind for longer than it suffered from either terrors or a talisman. Those years were the closest I ever was to God because I slept next to him every night. I was the kind of kid who would go to church alone, run crying to confession at the mere mention of a breast, condemn homosexuals when I only knew the dictionary definition, and abhor abortion without a second thought. Some years later, and things have changed. I look upon my past as its own kind of nightmare until the world shocked me awake. You see, my parents sent me to a good Catholic high school to carry on the family tradition of faith. It took me 2 years to turn into a godless, pro-choice, equality advocate, apostate, a demon, part of the generation pundits declare destined to tear up the pure Christian heart of our nation and devour its whole in some satanic ritual known as progress. Because when the religious insist that my sister, whose body and mind unravel at the seams, who falls to the ground and quakes with seizures the Bible would call demonic possession, who once asked, tears streaming from the eyes that were going blind, why is God doing this to me, is simply an extra trial from some supreme being to make me more compassionate because everything happens for a reason. It would be easier to punch them in the face as if her life was a lesson. Instead, I lash out with my tongue, pouring out some essence of the trembling child of not long ago when I insist, if God exists, he will have to beg for my forgiveness.